Anime often serves as an escape from reality for many people out there. There's a sense of relation and admiration for our anime heroes trying their hardest when the odds are stacked against them. But sometimes, these heroes are grossly underestimated, simply because of them choosing to hide their powers, and it feels incredibly satisfying seeing them finally show their true powers to the world. Number 5. The Eminence in Shadow. Welcome to a show that has the most determined protagonist of all, Sid Kagano. He can be depicted as a delusional idiot who unconsciously does well while in pursuit of his absurd fantasies. But only when taking a closer look do we understand that the complexity of this character, who represents himself as an anti-hero type while embodying many qualities of a hero, goes much deeper than portrayed. Sid is a teenage boy who's obsessed with role-playing and has trained himself to his limits. He later dies in the real world through an accident with a truck. This led to his reincarnation in another world where he could use magic, the only thing that could help him overcome his human limitations and aid him to achieve his end goal. That was to become the Eminence in the Shadow. He then goes on to form an organization called Shadow Garden, a secret organization that seeks to control the world from the shadows and free the world of the cult of Diablos. Our protagonist is no joke when it comes to fighting prowess, as he remains undefeated throughout the verse, easily manhandling figures like Iris Midgar, the leader of the Crimson Order, and Beatrix, also known as the Goddess of War. Number 4. The Aristocrats, otherworldly adventure-serving gods who go too far. The story basically revolves around your average salaryman, Shina Kazuya, who lost his life while trying to save a few girls from a crazed lunatic. However, the gods recognized the mortal's bravery and allowed him to be reincarnated into another world. Shina himself is an interesting character, to say the least, but quite generic, being your typical protagonist from having an inborn affection for being kind and humble, coupled with an innate carefree demeanor, and of course, the harem that comes with it. During his reincarnation, his soul manifests itself in the body of a 3-year-old boy, Cain von Silford, who's the third son of a very high-ranking noble. As he learns more about the world and discovers the existence of magic and the possibilities it brings forth, his love for this world only continues to grow. If you thought that was a plus, then you better be aware, because soon after, he's bestowed with the blessings of the 7 gods, attaining some of the most broken skills, strong enough to surpass any and all mortal limits. Crazy, right? From exceptional plot twists to a compelling narrative and action-packed scenes, Cain's otherworldly adventures are truly one to watch out for. Number 3. I got a cheat skill in another world and became unrivaled in the real world. Who doesn't enjoy watching an MC going from a complete loser to an absolute Chad? Well, our protagonist Yuya Tenjo is someone who was discriminated against throughout his life for being overweight and ugly. Everyone shunned and vilified him other than his grandfather, who loved him dearly. Yuya is someone who lacked the confidence to make a stand for himself. However, that does not stop him from being kind to others. Although self-loathe is a part of his daily life, he never puts the ethics taught to him by his grandfather aside. On a particular dull day, our protagonist is seen defending a girl from a gang of fully grown men, but unfortunately it backfires and Yuya gets his ass handed to him and is beaten senseless until the police intervene. The girl thanks him for saving her, but without saying much, Yuya heads back to continue with his miserable life. The next day, after being bullied and harassed by his classmates, he heads back home. He looks at himself in a mirror, realizing his hopeless state. He breaks it, bawling his heart out. He then punches a wall, which mysteriously leads him to a secret room, leading him to the door to another world. This is where his life takes a turn for the better. As Yuya obtains unimaginable skills and physical prowess from the other world, which could be visited whenever he needed. After having his fair share of fun, he's seen heading to bed thinking that nothing has changed. The next day, he sees himself to have lost all his weight, revealing an extremely attractive figure and face structure underneath. And that's not all that had changed, with our MC given that he had inherited all of the physical stat boosts he got from the other world in the real world, making him a force to be reckoned with. Going from a complete waste of life to having the best life he possibly could have had, Yuya Tenjo had become the happiest he could possibly be, gaining allies and people by his side that truly love and support him. If you love a wholesome narrative, this one's definitely one to go down in the books. Number 2, The Ice Blade Magician. Ever thought about a male version of Disney's Elsa? Ray White is the perfect candidate. Don't mistake this man as an ordinary magician because he's one of the 7 grand sorcerers of the modern world. As far as his personality is concerned, our pretty boy is quite the natural womanizer with immaculate riz. He's easily able to say things that someone of his age might be too shy to do so. Being a war orphan, he was taken in by Lydia Ainsworth, one of the 7 grand sorcerers, along with being his master and foster parent. After living a life full of relentless battles, Ray was given the opportunity to attend a normal teenage life at the Arnold Academy of Magical Arts. This is where Ray learns to live a life that is fit for someone of his age while surprising everyone with his magical prowess and making friends along the way. Now, without giving too much away, he does in fact try to hide his true powers from his friends because he's scared of losing them. This is primarily due to his previous overheating situation that still haunts him, given that it is exactly what resulted in his master being handicapped. But of course, like any other narrative, it doesn't remain a secret for too long. I mean, what else could we really expect? A mage of his caliber cannot stay in the shadows for too long. So if you like magic and enjoy watching a workout enthusiast, then this one's for you. Number 1, the greatest demon lord is reborn as a typical nobody. This narrative incorporates the demon lord Barbatos, a man whose presence would bring dread into the hearts of his enemies. He was respected and feared by all, as the epitome of strength. Barbatos had experienced a life of war against the evil gods who threatened the peace of the world he loved so much. Longing for defeat and in hopes of being blessed with a different fate, Barbatos decides to reincarnate himself as a typical nobody. 3,000 years later, he was reincarnated in a remote village as a young boy named Ard Meteor. He makes friends with the daughter of Olhide, the mayor of his village. They grow up together, with Ard continuously surprising Irina, the mayor's daughter, with his boundless strength. Once in his teens, Ard, along with Irina, enrolls in the Academy of Magic. From this point onwards, he's exposed to experiences he never thought were possible before as a demon lord. He made new friends, and like our lady killer Ray, Ard built a whole harem for himself, subconsciously of course. He also meets his former comrades, who had fought alongside the former demon lord 3,000 years earlier. Ard barely struggles a lot to get by unnoticed by his old generals. I honestly feel bad for him at this point. He continues his journey and explores the world now that he is a man who's free of his duties. But that's not really the case, as he does face a shit ton of monsters and other adversaries along the way.